entrepreneur, 71% successful grant writer. I've won millions of dollars in grants over the last 10 years, and I travel the world and I talk about the importance of getting this free money that you keep leaving on the table. I have dedicated 6 years to coming on live and being on this YouTube channel, teaching you guys how to access small business grants, even grants for nonprofits. And I'm so proud to say that I am here today to assist you even more. In this live stream today, I want us to talk about how I was able to get over 100 clients just by joining a funding community. A lot of small business owners and startups don't know about funding communities. So I'm going to teach you exactly what a funding community is, what they offer, and why it's so important for you to be in a funding community. Now, over the last week, I had the ability to actually do some pitches, investment pitches. If you don't know, I'm a co-founder and a founder to two tech companies, a founder of one and a co-founder to another. So right now, where I am in my fundraising cycle is that I'm actually going for investors and I'm doing direct pitches, doing pitches on YouTube and just speaking about my overall tech business mission, right? Not gonna lie, sometimes it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but honestly speaking, after you've done about at least two of them, experience is the best teacher in this situation, and you'll be able to scale and grow and strengthen your pitch. I talked about the importance of pitching at one point, I believe like 2 weeks ago on the live stream. And I talked about how we need to be practicing our pitches. A pitch is when you talk about your service and product and you talk about all of the key features that is in that that is in that service or product, right? Or that you provide in your service. And then you talk about the problem and how it's needed in the market, what your traction is and why it should be you, right? Why should you be chosen for this? So pitching is actually, and the reason why I wanted to have this conversation today, hey everybody, welcome in. The reason why I wanted to have this conversation today is because 2026, the way we win grants is going to be totally different. We are actually coming out of that, that way of we submit a grant application and then they just randomly choose to a raffle. While there will still be raffle-like grants, most of these grants that we are going to see in 2026, we're going to notice that they are wanting us to do what's called pitching, talking about our businesses, our services and products, talking about the problem and how our service and product solves that problem, and also, the traction of the entire business. 33 million small business owners active right now in the United States. 84% of you guys leave $90 billion on the table. That's free money that you should be getting. And this free money has no strings attached to it. I know you guys been seeing people talk about how I can get you a $100,000 loan, all of that stuff. I'm not giving that to you. I'm not pitching no $100,000 loan that you have to pay back. Why would you start your business out in debt when you can simply start your business out with millions of dollars that you actually don't have to pay back? Over $90 billion get left on the table every year. 84% of small business owners don't go for grants, and it's actually more opportunities for you. So in today's live stream, I'm going to show you how I was able to get over 100 clients just by simply joining a funding community. I'm going to teach you what a funding community is. And of course, friend, if you stick with me, I have some slides that you can screenshot. And of course, towards the end, I'm going to offer the ability for you guys to ask any questions. Okay. So grants, just to go through that really quick. Free money that you don't have to pay back, no credit checks, no personal information needed, and you don't have to provide your bank statements or none of that stuff. No strings attached. You simply have to submit an application, sometimes upload documents like a business plan and a pitch deck, and also you submit the application and you just wait at least 30 days for them to tell you if you were selected. If you need reassurance on what you should have before you decide to go for grants, download my free grant writing checklist today. Visit grantfully.org. That's grantfully.org. So that way you can download my free grant writing checklist today so you can have all of your things and your ducks in a row before you decide to go for this free money. The way that we are going to start getting grants, because there's so much artificial intelligence out here, and yes, there's humanized AI out here. So in order for the grantors or the reviewers or the judges to reassure themselves that you are the perfect company, the perfect entrepreneur to go get this free money, they're going to start requesting that we do what's called pitching. This last week, I was able to do a practice elevator pitch with Poker Power. Remember Poker Power, the grant that is giving out $100,000 to all small business owners? Remember I talked about that grant about 2 weeks ago? Well, I joined what's called their funding community. So each of these grants that I talk about, they are usually presented or provided by investment corporations, VC firms, or just private investors, right? And they have what's called a funding community. A funding community is where you can join that community. You will get consistent emails and updates about different funding opportunities you can get. And they also provide other resources and tools like coaching and different webinar classes, right? Well, this past weekend, I decided to join the $100,000 Poker Power Elevator Pitch. And it was over 90 of us, right, that joined in this Zoom. And what's so amazing is I reminded myself, my business is business to business. My business model is business to business, which means I serve you, the founder, the entrepreneur, or the nonprofit organization of, founder, right? I serve you in writing grants for you, and I write business plans for you, and I help you through your entire small business development process. So with me understanding that I'm really I'm in my element with all of these other businesses that I can serve. What I like so much about Poker Power and their funding community and the other funding communities that I'm going to talk about today is that they allowed us to actually promote ourselves. We're a full community and they want us to talk to each other, right? So in the Zoom, we were all chatting together, saying hey to each other, and we all had the ability to actually go into breakout rooms and we just did our pitches. Then once we were done with our pitches with the judger, with the person who's judging, we came back, all 90 of us, and then we got a chance to tell our experience, just kind of give the judges some feedback about how we felt about doing this elevator pitch. So I was like the third person to talk, and of course, my hair, makeup, everything I was together, friend. And I came on there and I expressed how I felt about the entire process and how thankful and grateful I was because it's strengthening my entire pitch, considering I'm going for investment capital for my tech companies. So I introduced myself and what my tech idea was. And I also introduced myself as a 71% successful grant writer. After I said that, the entire chat inside of the Poker Power pitch webinar or whatever, like, all of them was like, what is your contact information? At the end, like come Monday, so yesterday, I was able to check my contacts and I saw that I had like almost 100 clients, right? 100 leads, 100 people that signed up, close to 100. I'm pretty sure that they recommended other people as well in the midst of that. I was so happy to know that exercise of just being a part of a funding community, it was something much greater than just having that opportunity to pitch for the $100,000 opportunity. No, it was the simple fact that even if I don't win the grant, right? Even if I don't win the $100,000 grant, I joined a funding community full of people. We're talking about thousands of people that applied to the same grant that I applied to. And I get the chance at, promoting my business to them, allowing me to be of service of them, and then also allowing me to gain new clients and, generate that revenue and gain traction. So, how sometimes I'm telling you guys, applying to grants, actually, there's no way that you can be wasting your time. And I know that's one of the number one reasons why most entrepreneurs and startups don't apply to grants, because they feel like they're wasting their time. But see, I didn't waste my time in this. Whether or not I win this 100K, I still got 100 clients that I get to serve. And with them 100 clients, if I upsell all of them, I'll definitely be able to make that 100K just off of traction. You understand? So you're not wasting your time when you're applying to grants. So if you are ready to, scale your business with grant funding, and you just need to know what you need to have before you go for grants, make sure you download my free grant writing checklist. Visit grantfully.org so that way you can have access to it. All right, so let's move forward, and I want to talk more about these funding communities. So Poker Power is one. And how we found out about Poker Power, friends, is that we went through I Fund Women. I Fund Women was acquired by Honeycomb Credit. Y'all remember Honeycomb Credit that give out the multiple $10,000 grants almost throughout the year for all startups and small business owners, no matter what business industry you're in? Well, Honeycomb Credit is a funding community as well. What they do is they actually use the funding from your local area, put it all together in a pot, and they, have like a certain amount of money that they can give out. So that I'll give you an example. Let's say you live in Miami-Dade County, where I'm from, all right, the 305. And let's say they've been able to raise $1 million, right? Well, that $1 million is how much they have to give in that particular part of the season or that quarter. And so what they do is they give out grants, they give out VC, investment capital, they give out loans and lines of credit, all kinds of stuff. But they use the money that they were able to raise within that quarter. Honeycomb Credit was able to be so successful in this that they actually acquired the other VC firm, right, in a private investor firm, which is I Fund Women. If you ladies don't know, I Fund Women is the VC firm that helps women specifically, right? No matter what race you are, but they help women have the investment capital or the funding that we need to be able to scale. So I'm going to go over those really quick, but I also want to talk about the pros and the benefits of joining these funding companies. Okay, this is very important, you guys. This is like next level. Okay, so I got me some grape juice, and we're going to get to it. Before I bring up my slides, I want to say hey to everybody in the chat. Hey, Tamala, thanks so much for being here. We won't launch some more. Shout out to you. Thank you so much. I hope business is businessing. All right. Hey, Dennis, thank you so much for your consistency, and everybody else. Present like you on Shark Tank. Yeah, kind of like that. So pitching is kind of like that. So, and before I bring up my slides here and start showing you guys like how I got 100 clients, all that good stuff, really quick, right? Because there's a lot of AI, and we are actually getting smarter with how we're using AI and how we're prompting it. And there's even like other AI that's sounding a little bit more humanized. Pitching is going to be that next barrier, right? That next authentication, right? For the judges to be able to determine if you are the best candidate or the best entrepreneur to be able to get this free money opportunity. So while your answers might sound good in the application, good enough to get through round one, round two is you having a pitch. And you're going to notice that in 2026. I'm hoping that does not, scare away startups. Matter of fact, pitching is going to do nothing but make you even more like stronger in how you deliver your message, and also stronger in your marketing and all of this good stuff, right? You should actually, as an entrepreneur, be pitching. Even if you're not going for investment capital, if you're going for things like grants or whatever have you, it's best that you know how to pitch your company. You never know when you get in front of that person, or you're at a networking event and you're speaking to somebody who has a plethora, thousands of your client types, and you might want to pitch to them so that way you can use some of their, or collaborate with them and, try to help some of their clients, right? So yeah. All right, cool. Thank you for helping our business-minded people. Awesome. I'm always here to help you guys. Okay, so let's go over some things really quick. All right. All right, every founder needs a funding community, the secret to consistent growth. Okay, so I'm going to cover myself. The key to consistent growth opportunities, that's what we're going to go over. Okay, so here's 5 professional tips that gives you the understanding or the power of joining one of these social and funding communities. Okay, remember I told you guys what it is, what the community funding groups are, right? So we'll go over my top 5 as well. All right, so really quick. So number 1 is visibility. Visibility is leverage. The more communities you join, the more people see your brand. That visibility turns into brand mentions, collaborations, and funding opportunities. And this is so true. If you are joining multiple funding communities, the more the merrier in this situation. If you are joining like a public directory through Hello Skip, and then they see you through I Fund Women, and then they see you through Fearless Fund, and then they see you at the Verizon Digital Ready, like all of these funding groups, right? If you are a part of all of them and you're consistent in all of them, then guess what? You're going to be able to build your brand, and people are going to start to notice, okay, these people, they're everywhere. Proximity equals possibility. So being in those rooms, being in virtual rooms, right, with investors, founders, and mentors gives you insider access to opportunities that aren't public. So a lot of the times by you being with those A lot of the times, by you being in those types of rooms, right, joining things like I Fund Women, or joining these like Poker Power and these other funding community groups, right, Honeycomb Credit, they have their own like funding opportunities that is targeted towards their members. You know what I mean? So the $10,000 Verizon Digital Ready grant, you have to actually sign up for that, and you have to be a part of the community, right? The $100,000 Sephora grant that's out right now for women that are, you know, that have like a beauty product, right? That is out right now. $100,000 that Sephora is giving out. Well, you have to be a part of a community called the 15% Pledge, and the 15% Pledge is another funding community that you can actually be a part of. Now, if you are a part of the 15% Pledge, then you get first dibs on all of these amazing, you know, grants and investment capital and all kinds of stuff, and whatever other funding that they're giving out. You get first dibs on that, right? And it's also, sometimes you have to be a member. Hello Skip is one that we know about. Hello Skip gives out a $10,000 grant every month, but you have to be a Skip Plus member, right? You have to be a part of their funding membership, their funding community, in order for you to have access and to actually submit and apply to that $10,000 grant. So guess what that does? That limits the ability or the access to it. On average, a grant application can receive about like, let's say 2,000, right? 2,000 applications, right? Applicants. So knowing that you have to be a part of this group, majority, most likely, right, that 2,000, it goes down. So now we're looking at, let's say 1,000, you know, 500 to 1,000, or maybe 1,500, right? But that limits it more, and it gives you more leverage on increasing your chances of approvals with that grant opportunity, okay? The next one is collaboration over competition, friend. So community funding groups often share resources, like I did, pitch templates, grant links, funding updates. All of that cuts your research in half. So if you are a part of a funding group where there's thousands of people in there that you all apply to the same grant, and that's how you got in this funding group, and then you know, you guys are like, there's a certain dashboard or a place where you guys can like make posts and make community posts and stuff. Well, people are sharing different grant links, and you might come across somebody who knows a local grant opportunity that you can go for that will definitely help you out and give you leverage in winning that opportunity. Then you get to also collaborate with other people who are doing something similar, or, you know, you guys are in the same business industry, right? You guys get to collaborate, and also you get to promote your business. Yeah. Okay. Credibly through association. Okay, so you get credibility through association. When people see your brand aligned with respected communities like Poker Power, Hello Alice, I Fund Women, those places, your reputation skyrockets instantly. And this is really, really, really true. You know how like sometimes we go on those websites and those business forums and stuff like that, like Investopia or NerdWallet, and we see that they will have a place where it says, as seen on Forbes, as seen on CNBC, as seen on, you know what I mean? So ABC, right? So or Good Morning America, right? When we see those, then it makes us feel, as consumers, it makes us feel like this site is more credible, right? So in the funding community place, if you receive, let's say, if you're a part of their funding community and you collaborate and you do all these good things and you win a grant and all that stuff, well, let's say on your website you get to put funded or partner with Y Combinator. Y Combinator are the folks that gave Airbnb millions of dollars to start Airbnb. They gave Twitch millions of dollars to start their Twitch streaming platform. You guys know Kai Cenat, the platform that Kai Cenat's like living on. Yeah, that would have never been a thing if Y Combinator would have never invested. Well, you know, it would have taken them longer, but you know, it wouldn't have been a thing like how big it is. Y Combinator is like one of the top tech investors we know. Okay, they invest into so many. I think they invested into Uber Eats, DoorDash, like, right? So they are like number one. If you have Y Combinator on your website that says partner with them, it makes you look much more credible on your website. If you post, you know, as seen on Forbes, as seen on Good Morning America, as seen on CNBC, it makes you look much more credible. But how do you get there? Well, you start here. This is like online networking. Yes, online networking, online marketing. So, while you might have, and I'm just going to tell you like a little bit about what I have going on. So, like, for me as the founder of my company, right? I have a person, or I've hired someone, right, who is doing like social media and posting and all this stuff because I don't have time. Then you have somebody who's doing your back end stuff, which is like, because I'm building a tech company. So they're doing like all the development stuff, right? They do develops. And then I am partnered with, I have an actual on my executive team. I have who she has shares, right, of my tech company, right? She's my CMO. So she's my chief marketing officer. So the person I hired to do social media and all that stuff, she answers to her. Then you have my co-founder who is head of development. So he does product development, everything that has something to do with the front end, the UI UX, all of that stuff. He handles all of that, right? And then I have like someone who does like I'm teaching them like sales, right? So we have someone that's going to be like head of sales team, right? So that's how I have it set up, and I'm the founder. But by me being the founder, what do I have time to do? I got time to get on these community groups and just network, because that's my whole thing. I want to network and see how many collaborations I can get and try to partner up with other people who our visions align, right? How can I help your people and you help my people, right? Collecting data, increasing the data so we know more about the consumers that we're serving, so we can try to continue to build better services and better tools to help them out. So that's what I'm doing. I wanted to give you like kind of an idea of how I have my things set up, because I know you guys get the chance to see me all the time, like on YouTube and stuff. While that is actually going to start slowing down because I'm getting really, really busy, while that, if you haven't noticed, that's going to start slowing down. But I have things in place. You know what I mean? I have my business set up properly. And I just want you to understand how that can be for you. Either when you reach there, or if you're already at that point, you've been doing everything all yourself. Well, maybe you should think about, possibly, giving out some shares of your company and hiring somebody to do things for you, right? To do things with you to help build the company more. Maybe we can have that conversation later. All right, number 5. All right, the fifth pro tip, where we're talking about the power of joining social and funding communities, is accountability drives consistency. So being around ambitious founders keeps your momentum high. It's harder to quit when your peers are winning, and this is true. A lot of people, like in these funding community groups, they're saying like, oh, how they won and how they got this and how they got that. Well, it's going to do nothing but motivate you. It's going to make you feel like, okay, well, if they can do it, I can do it too. And it's always good to be a part of like-minded individuals. Okay, cool. All right, so that's what it is. Let's go to the next slide. 5 reasons to join. All right, so here's why you should actually join these funding communities. Number 1, you get early access to grants and pitches. You'll hear about open grants, competitions, and challenges before the public. And this is true. They send you emails. Also, a lot of the times what they do is they would actually ask you to join a webinar and walk you through how to, one up yourself. You know how that's hibiscus. Look, that's hibiscus. I thought it was grape juice. It's hibiscus. It's my husband. Okay. You know how like some of those people who've applied to grants, but they are like so, salty because they never got a chance to win a grant. And they always say things like, oh, those people, they don't give out grants. They have personal interest. That's what they're talking about. Because if you are a part of a funding community, you get early access to these opportunities. And I think this is what they're talking about. Oh, they pick and choose who they want to win. If you are a part of the funding community, of course, they are going to serve the people. They're going to acknowledge the people that are a part of their community. Why wouldn't they? They don't want you to be a part of this community for no reason. And the people that join these communities are people who are serious about increasing their, winning in their fundraising. You understand? These are serious people. So versus you who just came across this grant or whatever, and then you only apply to grants like 5 grants a year. These people are applying to every opportunity that comes across the table, and they're searching for it, and they are going hard for it. In the same sense, they're also gaining clients. They're also networking. They're also collaborating. This is a serious community. So, of course, they're going to favor the ones that are a part of their community because the people who are a part of their community are already showing that they're serious. So, how do you want it? How bad do you need it? How bad do you need it, friend? How bad do you need the free money? This $90 billion that you keep leaving on the table, okay? All right, visit grantfully.org so you can download my free grant writing checklist because you need to make sure you have all your ducks in a row before you even decide to go for these type of opportunities. Second is networking with decision makers. So you get to build direct relationships with investors, mentors, and collaborators. This is why I tell you, applying to grants, you are not wasting your time. Even though so like I said, I'm going back to what I said earlier. I applied to the $100,000 Poker Power grant. $100,000 is on the line right now. $100,000 for any startup. All of that is on the line right now. I've already talked about it. It's the Poker Power grant. I don't know if the deadline's already passed, but I'm pretty sure it did. I don't know. Okay. You can refer to that live stream from before. Now, after I applied to that $100,000 Poker Power grant, they actually sent me an email and said, join our community and, comment in the community group, right? They had a comment section and you can actually put, who you are, introduce yourself. That one comment has it's over 100, 500 people that already put who I am. Oh, my name is Tamala. This is what I do, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And so, as you know it, now I'm a part of this community. And then they send me an email and say, you are going to the next round. Maybe because I'm a part of the community. So come to the elevator pitch. I get in this elevator pitch. There's 90 people in here. I'm pretty sure they received thousands of applications. Matter of fact, that's what one of the judges said. We received thousands of applications. 90 of us was in there. So out of those 1,000 applicants, even if all 2,000 of these people who submitted the grant application received the email to join in the elevator pitch, only 90 of us joined. How bad do you want this money? Cool. So we in there, right? We do our pitch. And because I'm in a part of this community, I had the ability to actually promote my business, which allowed me to get over 100 signups. People not only, they was adding me on LinkedIn, we got some new subscribers in the building, right? All kind of stuff. And I'm like, what? Funding communities, I can't sleep on this. And as a matter of fact, I got to tell my people come next week about how they need to be serious about these things. Applying to a grant is not just simply going for the money. No, you have to go for it for an entire mission. You're not wasting your time when you're applying to a grant, when you have the ability to join a funding community that you have access to all of these consumers that you can market your business to. And because you're a part of this funding community, they're going to take you serious because they're serious, right? And then they're going to shop with you. Imagine you being a person that sells hair care products, right? And then you are a part of this group. Right? There's women in here that sell body shapers and activewear and all kind. I even met a lady that sells plates, like China. You know what I mean? Like plates, really, and decorative plates, right? And she is really serious. First of all, she's going for literally $1.5 million. She made decorative plates, and she is dead serious about going for this $1.5 million. And she definitely makes high six figures, probably already touched $1 million. She was able to tell us where she gets these plates from. They're imported from out of Switzerland and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. What? Oh, no, we cannot be playing like this. This is the type of environment we must be a part of. All right. So next, skill sharpening. Communities like Poker Power train founders in confidence, communication, and negotiation. And this is true. Poker Power was founded by Jen, and Jen is a multi-billionaire, and she's a billionaire, and she loves to play poker. Matter of fact, during 2020, and I already told this story about her when I introduced the $100,000 grant, but just to reassure you, during 2020, she learned how to play poker, her and her daughter. And so her daughter invited her friend and her mom, right? The daughter's friend and her mom, and they all would every week or whatever, they would just play these poker games and stuff like that, right? So what Jen was able to identify was playing poker is not just about playing the game. It's about strategy. And it's about like, knowing how to read, right? Knowing how to, it's so many different skills that come with playing poker and actually winning. So that's why she called this funding community Poker Power. And she's not only like willing to teach us for free how to play poker, which I'm definitely up for that, right? I think playing poker, golfing, those are like rich people activities. And I think it's very important that I know how to play. However, in chess, right? So I think like poker, chess, and golfing are things that I should know how to do. But she's also has this community where she's the one also giving some of her money, so giving out multiple $100,000 grants, and she's building a community of people that are interested in like building their small business and learning more about how to be more strategic on gaining their clients and gaining traction in their business. So that's her overall mission, right? Not only is she going to teach you about something she is a game that she actually has passionate about since 2020, but she's also going to teach you like she's really trying to get you everybody in the community to sharpen their skills. There we go. To sharpen their skills in places like communication and strategy and all of that good stuff, right? Skill sharpening. Okay. Also peer learning. So learn how others structure their startups, fix systems, scale for free. So you get to learn all that stuff. Emotional and mental support. So entrepreneurship is lonely. Communities make it sustainable. This is true. You might meet somebody in one of these funding communities that is like, you guys are like in the same state and whatever the case may be. Maybe you guys can have lunch, just kind of talk about how you like the community and just find ways that you guys can collaborate and serve each other's customers. Simple, right? All right. So that's 5 reasons to join. Let's go over 5 funding communities, different groups that you can actually join. Screenshot this if you will. All right. So of course I talked about Poker Power. So they empower women entrepreneurs through poker-based strategy and confidence workshops, but it's not just full of women, it's also men too. So it's all people. The benefit is it builds negotiation, risk taking, and pitching skills. So they are really big on pitching. So that's what I like about Poker Power. Hello Alice is one that a lot of people know about, but a lot of people just know Hello Alice just simply for being that place for grants. But no, Hello Alice is actually a funding community. It's a digital platform offering small business grants and networking. Access to grant databases, pitch competitions, and mentorship is what you get from Hello Alice, and it's free. Then we have I Fund Women that was, acquired by Honeycomb Credit. So they are a crowdfunding platform and coaching hub for women-led startups. Offers funding, exposure, and ongoing founder education, which is really true. I love I Fund Women. Founders Network is another one. It's a global community for tech founders and startup leaders. So of course, I'm definitely joining that one. So you get connections to investors, CTOs, and global partnerships, which is really good. LinkedIn creator mode or public directories, right? So you can do LinkedIn. And so you get to build your own online ecosystem through consistent content and visibility. Turns your profile into a lead magnet and brand asset. So LinkedIn is definitely that place where you definitely build relationships, right? So this is really good. We talk a lot about raising money, but nobody talks about raising your network. I'll say this again. We talk a lot about raising money, but nobody talks about raising your network, okay? Every connection you make in these communities is a potential door of opportunity. It can be a referral, a mentor, a new client, a partnership. All of that changes everything. So it's very important you understand the importance, okay, of joining these funding communities. You're not just applying to the grant. You're not just going to those sites like Verizon, Digital Ready, or Poker Power, or Hello Alice, or I Fund Women. You're not going to these places just to apply to a $100,000 grant or $10,000 grant. No, you're going to these places to join that funding community so you can also have a sense of community to collaborate with other people and market your business, right? But like I said, you got to be serious. Are you serious? Okay, so you guys know I always have something for you, a nice little call to action. All right, so if you're serious about funding your business, start by joining communities that move like money, okay? Download your free grant writing checklist and get ready for Grantfully.org's virtual launch this December. What I like about Grantfully.org, you guys know I've been talking about them for a little minute, but they are going to be the new grant search engine platform, and you get to allow them to apply to grants for you for just $30 per application. Excuse me. So They also have a funding community as well. So definitely sign up. All right. Visit grantfully.org. Get my, right now, you could just get my free grant writing checklist. And in December, I'll join you for the launch. We'll be in there all together, friend. And we'll be seeing people just talking about how amazing the platform is. And we'll go through it together. Okay. All right. So this was really fun talking about the importance of funding communities. Of course, I'm going to consistently join. If you guys don't know, I've been doing like investment pitches and all kind of stuff. So I'm still doing that. All right. When I get back to the US, which should be towards the end of this month or so, when I get back to the US, I'll be able to do some in person pitching, and that's going to be super fun and super cool. Okay. All right. So, any questions about what we just went over? We went over the importance of, joining a funding community. Make sure you grab my free grant writing checklist by visiting grantfully.org. Grantfully is that new platform that's going to allow startups and small business owners have access to grants and also help you write grants for just $30 per application. And they have a funding community as well, friend. So make sure you get ready for their virtual launch. I'll be there in December. So yeah, you guys, what do you think? What questions do you guys have? I'm going to start reading your comments right now. This was really fun. Really, really fun. This is amazing news, friend. Yeah, that is huge. Okay. Personal grants can you search for, and business grants for startups? I am looking for. I have everything you are talking about already. I just downloaded the grant writing checklist. Awesome. Shout out to you, to Tamala. So yeah, you can always visit grantwatch.com, right? That's where you would find those grants, Tamala. I don't really talk about personal grants because I don't want to get in your personal business. I just don't. That's just me crossing boundaries. I don't want to get in your personal business at all. I love talking about grants, but I like talking about grants for small businesses and mission-led, mission-driven businesses, right? So I don't know about personal grants. So personal grants can you search for? Yes, you can. And business grants for startups? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I'm not going to do it now. If you were asking me to search for it, no, you can visit grantwatch.com. I would rather show you how to, or which give you the direct website to go to, which is grantwatch.com. So that way you can have access, the full access and everything that you can go to right now on your own. Until grantfully.org comes out, then I won't be talking about Hello Skip or grantwatch.com anymore, most likely. So yeah, you can go to grantwatch.com. I remember when Poker Power came out, I emailed them and they have been inviting me to join for years. Yeah. I wanted to know how to play poker for years. This is awesome. Yeah. Yep. You should join. You should join. You should definitely join. The people that are in the Poker Power community are serious entrepreneurs. And like I said, how I know they're serious is because all I did was make a post. You know what I mean? All I did was say in the chat, like, hey, I'm a grant writer, 71% successful grant writer. Here's my YouTube. And then literally everybody was just like, how can we contact you? How can we get in contact with you? I said, first, download my free grant writing checklist because you need to make sure you have all your stuff together. And then after that, I'll check in my Grantfully dashboard or whatever, and then I'll just reach out to them and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I've been doing a little bit. But because we're a part of a community, then I know these people are serious, right? So I know that in most cases, right, I'm not getting someone that is just like on the fence. They don't really know. I'm not getting a fan. So I'm not getting somebody who's a fan of mine and who just simply wants to, you know what I mean, just talk to me or anything like that. I'm actually getting real business owners that are looking for grant funding and they are serious about their fundraising, increasing their fundraising rounds, right? So, and winning. So, this helps me out. And a lot of these business owners inside of these funding communities, I notice that they have all their ducks in a row for it. They do. They're already generating revenue. Yep. They are already generating revenue. So you think I'm not going to join more funding communities and talk more about what I do? You must be crazy. You know what I mean? Because I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious about, increase in scaling this current business and servicing as many people as I can. While I love coming on here on YouTube and stuff, the realities of it is that I'd rather give these funding communities more of my time and more of my energy and more of what I know right? Because majority of them most likely don't know me, which is so fun to me. Because guess what that means? I get to teach all over again. I get to like really enjoy sharing what I do and just, teaching all over again. So that's like the cool side of things. All right. Well, I really do appreciate you guys for being here, right? Don't forget to download my free grant writing checklist. If you guys don't have any questions, I want to say enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. I'll most likely see you guys later on this week. And stay blessed. Keep your business moving forward. You got it. You're doing really great. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you guys on another live stream. Peace and blessings.